Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the fascinating life and massive legacy of India's fifth Prime Minister, Chaudhary Charan Singh. We're talking about a tenant farmer's son whose ideas fundamentally shaped the nation's soil, leaving an impact that is still deeply, deeply felt across the Indian countryside today.
Think about this quote for a second. The true India resides in its villages. This perfectly captures the core worldview of a leader who spent his entire public life fighting to ensure the agricultural worker absolutely wasn't left behind. For him, this wasn't just some catchy political slogan. It was a cold, hard economic reality. He firmly believed that if the peasant remained poor, there was just no way the nation could ever truly become strong.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at 1. The champion of farmers, 2. Origins and freedom struggle, 3. Architect of land reform, 4. Power, principles, and premiership, and finally, 5. An enduring agrarian legacy. Let's jump right into Section 1, the champion of farmers, the voice of rural India. Charan Singh wasn't just your standard politician, climbing the ranks to become the fifth prime minister or a two-time chief minister of Uttar Pradesh. Known affectionately as Chaudhary Sahab, he was what you'd call a true moral economist. He lived simply, he wore homespun khadi, and instead of just delivering fiery speeches, he actually sat down and wrote these long, incredibly data-rich books on land and the Indian economy. His posthumous Bharat Ratna in 2024 is a testament to that enduring respect. Moving on to Section 2, Origins and Freedom Struggle, from tenant hut to nationalist. Born in a modest tenant hut in Nurpur way back in 1902, his family actually worked the land with their own bare hands. Growing up, he learned a couple of really hard facts very early on. The peasant produces the entire nation's food, but that exact same peasant is consistently the first one to be exploited. Whether it's by landlords, moneylenders, traders, or distant city planners, the farmer always takes the hit. And that childhood reality completely framed his worldview. His personal trajectory is just incredible. Despite facing real poverty, he didn't just survive, he pursued his education aggressively, earning a master's in history and a law degree by 1927. He then took that incredibly sharp legal mind straight into Mahatma Gandhi's nonviolent independence movement. And he paid the price for it, enduring multiple years-long stints in British jails in 1930 and then again during the Quit India movement in 1942. And here's a really touching personal detail. While he was locked away fighting for the nation's freedom, his wife, Gayatri Devi, made an immense, quiet sacrifice at home. She actually sold her personal ornaments and left her teaching job just to keep the children fed and the family afloat. It powerfully grounds this massive political fight in the very real, day-to-day sacrifices made by his family. All right, Section 3, Architect of Land Reform, Dismantling Feudalism. To really grasp his impact, we have to look at the incredibly oppressive system he was up against. The zamindari system was essentially this massive feudal hierarchy. You had intermediary landlords extracting crushing taxes from the actual peasants working the soil. So what did Chaudhary Charan Singh do? He drafted the historic UP Zamindari Abolition Act specifically to dismantle this exact structure. He literally turned the law itself into a weapon for the poor. His masterstroke solution was this powerful concept called peasant proprietorship. He firmly believed that depending on a landlord or even a distant government planner fundamentally weakened a citizen's character. If the worker on the land actually owns the land they plow, well, it grants them immediate dignity. It rewards their hard work, and most importantly, it gives them a genuine stake in the peace and stability of the country. Now, this is where things get really fascinating, because this ideological stance put him in direct contrast with a massive figure in Indian history, Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. While Nehru was pushing for this Soviet-style, heavy industry-first, urban-centric model, Charan Singh was advocating for an agriculture-first, village-centric economy. He bravely stood up and voiced this fundamental disagreement in front of the entire party at the 1959 Nagpur Congress. He argued that in a labor-rich, capital-poor country, you have to prioritize food and village employment over giant steel plants. It was a super risky stand, but it proved his absolute dedication to his principles. Section 4, Power, Principles, and Premiership. The price of integrity. He had to navigate some seriously intense factional politics. In 1967, he made the bold move to leave the dominant Congress party altogether to become Uttar Pradesh's first non-Congress chief minister. Later on, after being imprisoned during the emergency,
He became a key architect of the Janata Party in 1977, taking on these critical roles like Home Minister and Finance Minister. Always relying on his massive rural base. He eventually ascended to the highest office in 1979. 23. That's the number. Just 23 days. That is the incredibly short time he served as a majority prime minister before submitting his resignation. Because of this, he's actually the only Indian prime minister to never face a vote of confidence in parliament. So, why did it only last 23 days? Well, his government relied on external support. That came with a massive catch. They wanted him to drop the criminal court cases against Indira Gandhi and her allies related to the emergency, and he utterly refused to be blackmailed. He chose to lose his premiership and resign right then and there rather than compromise the rule of law. That is a rare kind of political courage, wouldn't you say? Which brings us to Section 5, an enduring agrarian legacy, the Republic and the Plow. His impact is literally etched into modern India, extending far beyond his 2024 Bharat Ratna. Today, his birthday, December 23rd, is celebrated across the entire country as Kisan Diwas, or National Farmers' Day. His memorial in New Delhi is called Kisan Ghat, which literally translates to the Farmer's Memorial. These aren't just empty titles. They represent how he successfully and permanently placed the farmer at the very center of the Republic's history. But, his legacy extends far beyond just agriculture. Take a look at this quote from his 1979 Independence Day address at the Red Fort. He set a highly visible standard for public honesty. He firmly rejected corruption and openly opposed the caste system, flat out stating that a system that locks people's worth at birth has absolutely no moral standing. For him, the means and the ends were completely inseparable. When you get right down to it, his most tangible legacy is right here on the ground. Millions of families in northern India hold title to their land today because he successfully used the law to redistribute power to the tiller. He proved to the entire world that a post-colonial country can actually dismantle a feudal land structure peacefully, using statutes, data, and persistence, rather than violent civil war. And that brings us to a vital question for today. Does our republic still remember the plow? As we navigate modern debates over farm laws, minimum support prices, and this ever-growing rural-urban economic divide, it's something we really need to reflect on. Are we still applying Chaudhary Charan Singh's ultimate test? Does a policy leave the small cultivator more secure? It's a profound thought to carry with you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope this gave you a clear, engaging look into the incredible life of India's champion of farmers.